gaseous exchange in mammals. Gaseous exchange in mammals, of course, takes place in the lungs. Air will move via the nostrils, it enter into the trachea, into the bronchioles, and it will go to the lungs. But there are other muscles that are involved and other structures that are involved, like the intercostal muscles and the ribs, the diaphragm, alveoli, blood capillaries. All those ones take part in gaseous exchange in animals. Gaseous exchange in animals, takes place in three sections. There is the inspiration, and then there is the process that occurs in the alveoli, and then the expiration. We shall start with inspiration. During the inspiration process, what happens is that the external intercostal muscles will contract. These are the external intercostal muscles that we have on the sides of the ribs will contract. And in the process of contracting, the inner muscles in the ribs will relax. And when they relax and the outside are contracting, the rib cage is going to be moved upwards and outwards. The rib cage is going to move upwards and outwards. In the process of moving upwards and outwards, the diaphragm muscles, which are like this, will contract. And when they contract, the diaphragm muscles are going to get flattened, and the diaphragm is going to lose its dome-shaped structure into a flat structure. In the process of doing so, the thoracic cavity volume increases. And when the thoracic cavity volume increases, the pressure now in the lungs has decreased below that one of the atmospheric pressure. And this is going to force the air to rush into the lungs. We are saying that the process of inspiration takes place when the external intercostal muscles of the lungs, of the ribs, contract, and the inner muscles relax. In the process, the rib cage is pushed upwards and outwards. When the rib cage is pushed upwards and outwards, the diaphragm muscles also contract, and the diaphragm loses its dome shape. In the process, the thoracic cavity volume increases. And when the thoracic cavity volume increases, the lung pressure decreases below that one of the atmospheric pressure. This forces the air to rush into the lungs. And that is the process of inspiration, how air enters into the lungs. Now, when air has entered into the lungs, it diffuses into the alveoli. The blood which is now coming into the alveoli has a high concentration of carbon dioxide and low concentration of oxygen. Because the alveoli have got a net venation, network of veins, oxygen diffuses from the alveoli into the blood capillary. will diffuse from the blood into the alveoli. This is brought about due to the concentration gradient. Because there is high concentration of oxygen in the alveoli and low concentration of oxygen in the blood, oxygen will diffuse from a region of its high concentration to a region of its low concentration. The region of high concentration is the alveoli, and the region of low concentration of high oxygen is in the blood. And because the blood which is coming into the alveoli or the lungs has a high concentration of carbon dioxide, and air entering the alveoli has low concentration of carbon dioxide, this difference in the concentration is going to force the carbon dioxide to move from a region where it is highly concentrated, which is the blood, into the alveoli where it is low concentration of carbon dioxide. And that is the process which takes place at the gaseous exchange between the surface of the alveoli and the blood capillaries. Now, when we look at the expiration is the opposite of inspiration. This time, the internal intercostal muscles will contract and the external intercostal muscles will relax. In the process, the rib cage is going to move downwards and inwards, and the diaphragm muscles are going to relax such that the diaphragm receives its dome shape. The thoracic cavity now, the thoracic cavity volume is decreasing, and the lung volume also is decreasing. This leads to the increase in the pressure in the lungs, greater to that one of the atmospheric pressure. And because the pressure in the lung is greater than that one of the atmospheric pressure, air is going to be forced out of the lungs. That's how expiration takes place. Intercostal muscles, external intercostal muscles relaxing, internal intercostal muscles contracting, rib cage lowered downwards and inwards, diaphragm muscle relaxes and loses its dome shape, or assumes its dome shape. The thoracic cavity volume decreases, lung volume decreases, lung pressure increases higher than the atmospheric pressure, air forced into the or forced outside of the lungs. Now, when we look at the gases, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen, oxygen in the atmosphere we have 20.96%. Carbon dioxide we have 0.03%. And nitrogen has 79.1%. The alveolar air found in the alveoli contains 13.8% of oxygen, 5.5% of carbon dioxide, and 79.01% of nitrogen. Then the exhaled air contains 16.4% oxygen. It contains 4.1% carbon dioxide. Thank you for being with us, together looking at gaseous exchange in mammals. Stay with us as we continue to study together.